During this digital footprint project, I learned a lot, like what I was doing with social media. First started my Facebook in 2010, and I actually didn't post my first post until 2013. I was tagged in a lot of stuff, like from family and friends, and I had a lot of game apps and stuff like Farmville. That was mostly what my Facebook was about. But I didn't really get into it entirely until like 2013 when I started posting things and stuff like that. And it was kind of the same thing with my Twitter. I mean, my Twitter, it took me a while to get into, like, not as long as Facebook, but it took it, I want to say about 6 months or so to actually post my first post. And then once I posted that, I kind of waited a while and just kind of waited to see what people reacted. It was mostly me just retweeting things that I thought were funny and just entertaining and just kind of try to make people laugh. I also just thought it was weird that I was more of one of those people early on in social media that I just looked around at stuff, like went to different pages, went to different just accounts just to look at what that stuff was about instead of actually creating my own content. I was more of just kind of like a follower of what everyone else was doing. And I thought that was kind of interesting. And it also really showed in like what I was in the beginning when social media first started coming out, is that it took me a while to get used to it. And like most things, it does take me a while to get used to things. Like it took me 3 years to post my first post on Facebook, which is kind of surprising. And same with Twitter, it took me a while to post there. So it takes me a while to get used to it, but once I get used to it, I start posting a lot more. I'm a lot more comfortable, and I just start posting and retweeting and just all that kind of stuff. Favoriting, liking, getting a lot more interactive with all sorts of things. And then I'm just kind of used to it, and I just do it all the time, and it's like I can't see where I would be without this kind of stuff. Like my life kind of really depends on this sort of thing. Also, I was also looking through some stuff, and I also went through a few phases, like the to be honest phase on Facebook, or like and rate thing on Facebook. There was a lot of those phases, just probably kind of seeing what I wanted to be, or like what people thought of me on social media. That way I can kind of know where my bounds were, what I was posting, or who liked me, who I could talk to, and stuff like that. Also had a big, huge phase during Twitter. It was like during that phase where everyone did like the Women Crush Wednesday, like the hashtag WCW, the Throwback Thursday, the Flashback Friday, Senior Sunday, Man Crush Monday, all that kind of stuff. It was just, I had a big phase when I did that like every day. I had to think of something, I had to post that, I had to think about it, and just it was like a requirement. It was required for me to do that every single day and stuff like that. And there was also the phase during where I just kind of like laid back a little bit, and I didn't post much, but I was tagged in a lot of things with like photos, like lots of vacation photos, mostly on Facebook. A lot of family stuff. So Facebook was more directly towards family for me. Like I didn't like when my family got it, I didn't want to be like one of those kids who just like posted like funny stuff like that was inappropriate and stuff, because I got to keep the image up for the family. And so Twitter was more of that, like that's for friends, not as much family. That's for friends and like personal. While Facebook is more family and me being professional in a sense. So that way I don't kind of have people like my family asking, well, why are you doing that? What's going on here? You shouldn't really do that, and just get like ridiculed by my family trying to then look out for me. Why in Twitter I'm just kind of myself, making people laugh, inappropriate jokes, funny retweets, memes, all the memes that were posted, and just all the like savagery that is on Twitter that I retweeted. So that's just like Twitter's for me, Facebook's for family. That was towards the end, so it's like I'm realizing that Facebook's more just a lot of people are on Facebook more. Facebook's more just, I don't want to say this. Facebook is more for family and just like more like not as much friends as like I can be myself around. It's more professional. While Twitter, it's just I can be professional, but I choose not to be because a lot of my friends use Twitter, so we just all get along and make fun of each other and just have fun on Twitter. So Twitter's more fun, and then Facebook's more just kind of keeping in touch with everyone. So yeah, for my image, I just learned that over social media, it takes me a while to get used to people and other new things, but once I get used to them, I just let it all flow out and just make it all, put all the content, and it's just easier that way. Once I get used to it, it's like I get really into it. So it's my digital footprint.